Go ahead and get started. I think Dale's father is in the hospital, so he asked me probably to sit in for him tonight. So before we do the meetings, if it's okay with the commission, we have a couple of guests that have driven a little bit away, so I'd like to let them go ahead and give their presentations, and then they can get back on the road and get home. So first, is that all right with everybody? First, we have Jody Holland from ZIS Digital. He's here for the audio system here in the courtroom. So Jody, if you want to come forward.
Thank you.
I know we have a hard time hearing sometimes. And
That's why I'm here.
What? What'd you say, Walt?
What?
What'd you say?
What'd you say? This card's out. So if you want to use them as little flowers, you can.
I think this would probably fall under building and ground.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, folks, for allowing me here this evening. I'll be as brief as I can. I am sorry to hear about Mayor Perdue's father. Wish him the best prayers for him and his family. I was here, was it last month, Pat? I believe it kind of flies when you have fun. Actually, I was here, Scott County Court's been using our court recording system for quite a number of years, as well as our video arraignment system. And then I had approached Ms. Phillips about recording and sound, and she said, sound? And yes, she said, we might need for you to come to our Scott County building to take an assessment of this room, which is a multi-purpose room, and I understand it's used for various events, other work groups, other county meetings, people say like Arts Council or whatever. And I know that one of the issues is that that people that are sitting mainly in the very back have a hard time hearing, and especially when you're dealing with a lot of paper and stuff, when you're going over documents, sometimes it's hard for people to hear. I even had a hard time hearing. My wife said I had a hard time listening, which I think is key here. But who we are, BIS Digital is a company based out of Fort Lauderdale, Florida. We are in 15 states, mainly most of the states east of the Mississippi River. We have a regional office in Nashville, where I'm based out of. We have systems in every county in the state of Tennessee. We've been in business since 1982 as a company. We've been in the state of Tennessee since 2005, where the Administrative Office of the Courts selected our court recording system for the criminal court, which we have a system in there, as well as your general sessions. What I wanted to kind of go over is a little bit about what we can provide Scott County. Some of y'all may know about digital technology as it applies to sound. Some others don't, especially when people tend to talk at the same time, or just due to the acoustics of the room. Sometimes it's hard to hear. So because this is a nice multi-purpose room, there's no floor conduits where you can run mic wire back to the rack or wherever it's going to be. So we were thinking about having the ability to have what is called wireless boundary microphones, where you can have a microphone positioned between two commissioners, and then have one for the mayor and the attorney, so that you have this wireless technology and not having to have the freedom of not having to deal with wires. With the microphones, it would allow the commissioners to mute their microphone if they want to talk privately, which is very nice, or have it where you have to hold it to mute, or it doesn't mute at all. We would provide then a digital sound server also known as DSP for those that know a little bit about the technology. The technology as it applies to amplification is going from analog to digital. The same way where in the courts and in other high-level governments where everything's going all digital as far as the processor. The ability for a sound system to come standard with 12 microphone inputs without the need of a recording mixer or a big board like this. Everything could be put in a rack, more or less. And then at the end of the day, once the meeting is over, you power off your mics, you charge them back up with a standard AC outlet, and then you can have the electronics stay there or locked in a case, or move it to another location like storage. That way it's out of the way, yet have it flexible where you could use wireless technology to have different meetings. Most of your commission meetings are here, but sometimes I understand that they will partition off this room. Is that right? They'll partition off this room to have a meeting here. So if you wanted to amplify that meeting in this here, just take the microphones, power it on, and you're good to go. It's simple as turning it on and off. Did you have a question?
Not yet.
Okay. I'm not going to get into price today because I don't know what is y'all's concern. I know that one of the concerns is that people cannot hear that's sitting in the back of the room. So what we can provide is a multiple zone sound where you can control the output from the PA, because we would install ceiling mounted speakers, a minimum of 6. You don't really need any here, but you need some here and in the very back of the room, so that when you come in, you don't see anything as far as speakers are concerned. You have the ability we have identified that the county needs 10 microphones. 7 for the commission, a wireless microphone for the podium, and then 2 wireless microphones for the mayor and the attorney. And then at the end of the day, you power it off and you store it away. One of the integrations of microphones and amplification also applies to presentation systems as well. And I only mention that in that you have not only audio, you sometimes will have video capture that's needed. I'm not talking about recording cameras in the commission, although you certainly can do this, but I'm talking about like Evan's presentation. The ability for you to amplify the audio portion of a video presentation, like a DVD or something of that nature. So that with digital technology, it doesn't paint you into a corner like a traditional analog box does. Think of the technology that allows you to expand as you need. In addition to having sound systems, the ability to capture the audio or the audio video as a file, they can get the audio from the recorder, from the recording from the PA sound system, so that what they're getting is a very clean audio signal instead of a kind of a muddy audio, because there's no amplification other than what they're using here or from the camera. So with our solution, we think that we've got something that, yes, consider this as a possible or potential investment for not only today, but down the road. It will not paint you in the corner. We are an AV integrator. We can provide you with referrals of customers that are very happy with our products and with our integration. And again, we are doing business with Scott County, and would like to have an opportunity to take this to the next level, provide a solution to y'all's needs. Now, I'm open for any questions or comments or concerns. Yes, sir.
2 questions.
Yes, sir.
What's the problems you've had with the, I'm sure the system where you can talk but you can't mute is probably cheaper than having the mute capability and whatever. What kind of problems do you have if you don't get the mute capability?
Well, if you don't get the mute capability, the chair or mayor can control the audio output from a laptop. So you actually can say, okay, I want to mute these mics, or I only want to mute one mic, or I want to turn on this, I want to turn on that. So without having to go to the rack, you're controlling it from one wire from a laptop to control the audio. So from a simplistic standpoint, it makes it much easier. You can adjust the levels of it digitally instead of having to go and tweak it, because there are no knobs on this system. We come in, we balance out the system so that everybody can be able, even people in the back of the room can be able to clearly hear what's been said up front. And again, all this can be accomplished from our knowledge and our installation capabilities.
And second question was, what happens if 2 or 3 people are trying to talk at the same time?
Good point. You get into Robert's Rules of Order right there. Good point. But he raises a valid point, and when people tend to talk at the same time, there's really nothing that you can do other than shutting off a microphone or having it where it's not someone over here is talking, maybe whispering, doing something on another project, and that can be annoying. With our recording solution, it's multiple channels where you can actually on playback only that channel that you want. So with the ability to have digital signal processing, being able to control the output of the microphones or be able to control it, the ability for the versatility of these wireless boundary mics, which would be a little bit bigger than my mouse here, maybe a little bit bigger, and it sits there, it has its own boundary mic, and it's a transmitter that transmits to the receiver. And we will have multiple, we'll have 10 wireless microphones with the ability to add additional mics in the future on that. So with digital technology, as it applies to sound, it makes a difference between being able to hear and not hear. Yes, sir.
Technology, this part of technology is something I know nothing about.
Fine.
Mr. Strunk back there is, I follow all my questions up with him. Part of our biggest problem is that media, from our local televisions to our radio stations, everything is muffled coming outside this room.
That's right. That's right.
And that's one of our bigger complaints than anything we have. Will our media be able to tap in to this system?
Absolutely.
To get the clear
Absolutely.
audio?
Matter of fact, I had a little discussion with Mr. Strunk about that, which means that he wouldn't have to bring half the stuff that he has to now. We would have one basic cable connecting to the DSP, so that what he'd be getting would be clear, pristine audio. When it gets great video, but the audio is not good. So with this solution, you could solve really kill 2 birds with one stone here. Great amplification, great audio signal as it's being captured or being streamed. So that would be, I think, a big hindrance for his station.
Have you done any other proposals for any other office within the county?
Yes, I'm working right now with Donnie Phillips on
I've seen that.
Oh, yeah, it's a smaller, yes, but I can give you some references of some integrations that we've done, because this really is a building block as an integration to have the ability to take care of immediate needs now and well into the future. Instead of painting yourself into a corner because you've only got X number of funds. Now, my disclaimer is I don't pay the county's bills, and I understand that monies are tight, but because you have no PA in here, and we think that with digital signal processing, you can make a big difference between something that can be heard or not, and discernible.
So you haven't actually had a chance to look over this room?
Yes, I did. I did. I was here last month and looked at it and met with Ms. Phillips here. And I took some pictures of this room. The one thing that I see here is that you've got a tile floor, which bounces sound. You've got sheetrock walls. The ceiling's not a problem because these usually are acoustical tiles. But because you have the issue with sound, you want the ability to control it. And that's where the DSP comes into play. We come in and we balance out the sound. Can you improve the acoustics of this room? You bet. You could. You could put up acoustic tiles. You could go with, there's one county that they have very high ceilings, and you can imagine, just like an old county courthouse where it's like you're in a big can. And so what the county did is they decided to have, to create some quilts, believe it or not, of the history of the county. And that kind of reminded me, that quilt there. And so what it is, it tells a story, but it also helps with the room acoustics. Or go and consider acoustical tiles if you need to, but I feel pretty confident with our DSP solution that you would have it where the sound is going to be much improved.
If you've had a chance to look over this, have you got a low end, a high end, or cost?
I do. I have analog and I have digital. Right now I'm talking digital here because I really think that, and I've talked this over to our technical services, and it's basically because of the acoustics, the ability that you don't have floor conduits for wired mics. We normally fish microphone wiring under tables for, a commission, and we're actually giving a proposal this evening right now to Sumner County, that's the county right next to my county. And now they have a nice area and they've got floor conduits, but they got 25-year-old technology it's dying on the vine. So they're faced with the dilemma of replacing almost a quarter-year-old system. And here you don't have this, but you do have a blank room because this is a multi-purpose room. Use that technology for not only work groups, but the commission or anybody else that needs to use it and have amplification.
Since you've taken the pictures and you're talking digital on this, the eye could see the issue with the analog system pulling wires.
Yeah.
Do you have you said you didn't have a firm price, but do you have a low end, maybe a high end price on this and for everything comes budgets?
Yeah, we may be able to, one of the issues is that there's no microphone here at the podium.
Right.
And that would be great for a wireless mic that's on a stand that you could take it around and talk with it like this. But we would have the ability to have an analog, a low-end system for around 10 to 12,000. Because what you've got is you've got 14 commissioners. Not every commissioner may need their own microphone, and we've identified this especially with wireless mounting. The ability to share, like if that bottle was a wireless mic, you two could share that easily, and it picks up everybody. I mean, probably 3 people. So it's depending upon how many mics you need, what your budget is. Again, we understand this, but is it something that you're wanting a stopgap measure where, okay, let's buy what we can afford, or we want to consider investing in something that Scott County will be proud of, that will work the way that we say it's going to be. And if it's not, if it doesn't do what we say it's going to do, we will take it out and refund you money. Fortunately for me, I have not had that issue.
All right, so that's the analog system, 10, 12,000. What's the digital system?
It'll be close to 19.
19,000.
19. Now that, again, a lot of the cost there is wireless mics. But the way that they designed that, it operates off 2.64 gigahertz. So it does not interfere. You can have RFI, don't have a problem with the television, things of that nature. you're getting a pristine signal from the boundary mic transmitter back to the expandable receivers. And we would provide a case for, it's a rack case for the electronics.
And you're discussing this is computer-based controls, so I'm assuming it's software-based.
It is.
So it's gonna be upgradable indefinitely.
That's correct.
Besides maybe I'm buying new computers when they come out
That's
maybe with updates on software, so.
State of Tennessee is faced with that. They had to upgrade all their computers because they were running off of Windows XP.
I mean, eventually computers will come around.
That's
We only have a certain shelf life in this age and time, but,
Right.
so the digital systems are computer-based with software-based program control.
That's right. Good point.
If
All right, got any
Yeah,
others?
if the system costs somewhere close to $20,000, we can't sole source that.
No.
No, it was,
It's gotta go out on bids.
exactly, yeah, we're very much aware of that. But what we can do is we can certainly can help you write the RFP for you all to get what you want. We understand about the bid process. I've been doing this for 11 years, so we understand, I think, is it $10,000? Now, some county charters, I think maybe one time, Scott County was $2,500. Or was that?
Yeah, we changed that.
You changed that? But I remember when I first started calling on Scott County, that, anything over $2,500 going to go out to bid.
I think that changes time as inflation goes up, price goes up.
All right, anything else? All right, we're probably taking the action tonight.
That's fine.
Thank you.
I appreciate y'all allowing me to come in and kind of explain in layperson's terms about what's happening as far as this technology change. But yeah, if you want to read about it, I can provide you with some links and referrals of our customers that use this, but also good reading material for those that uninitiated of digital signal processing. It is an art, and I think it would be a good investment for Scott County. Thank you all for your time.
Mary Ann, she can email, I don't really need the customers, I just want to know the system that you have.
Okay.
If you'll send that to the county mayor or
Okay.
Pat, we can get it distributed to the commission.
Okay, so y'all, names of referrals of those that you
Well,
have
Well,
information?
I want the information on your digital system,
Sure.
what your product is.
Okay. I've got some handouts that I'll be happy to leave on that, but if you want me to, I can email that, instead of having to print out stuff.
Anything on
Is that good?
it, it's fine.
Okay, good.
Can I speak to you after the meeting, if you can hang just a few minutes, and I'd like to talk to you about some things after the meeting.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. All right, I think Mitch is here, but he's under emergency services, so we'll just go ahead and. You can call it to order if you want to.
Okay. Call Emergency Service Committee to order. David Ruday. Here. Kenny Chadwell. Here. Eddie Brown.
Here.
Sam Miles.
Here.
Donald Brown. Here. Rick Burke. Here. Number two will be the ambulance service chief.
The only thing I have is me.
Let me get, okay, I got my mind somewhere. Go ahead. Get it before
Well, the first thing is, I just want to let everybody know, we did turn in the community development block grant for $315,000. I think our match was roughly about $30,000, somewhere in that neighborhood. So that was turned in end of February, and we won't hear anything till probably October, but I'm pretty sure we stand an excellent chance in getting that. And what we'd be looking at is getting as many ambulances as we can, at least 2, maybe 3, this depends. But that's a plan on that. And then I know before we had talked about the potential of, they had laid out a potential of $1 million for a couple of counties that didn't have hospitals. That whole thing was pulled off. I mean, I checked with the state, the whole thing is gone. I don't want to blame everything, but some of that money went to, Sevier County because of the fires. But I don't want to blame, because they had other monies that they could have moved elsewhere. But that was part of it. They were getting a lot of pressure from I don't know if pressure, but encouragement from HUD, because it hit national news and everything, say, hey, is there any way we can take some of that money to help those people? So, you know, that's where part of that went. So that is, as of right now, is no longer available now. It eventually could come back open at some point, but that's not there now.
Well, we need it for April, so.
Yeah, so that's just not there. I mean, that's one of the things I asked was if there was anything we could have done, and they said, well, no, it was just something that, you know, it was something we was looking at, and then we decided that we would just pull that offer. So it's not only us, it was whoever the other county was, and I don't know where the other county was, it was in West Tennessee. So it got pulled totally, so did want to let you know that. On a good side, we are looking at, one question on the home grant. I don't know if this may be out of turn, but since you're all here, I want to mention this. On the home grant, there is a bill in place. It's not been brought up to legislation, but there is a bill that is being written right now to be brought up in front of legislation to take care of the state inspection problem that, you know, I understand that's out there right now. So I would say, you know, if that's something that you're in favor of trying to get passed, that you would probably want to call Senator Yeager and maybe Kelly Keesley and tell them, hey, we want support of this, if that's what you want support of.
So it's not being introduced yet?
It's my understanding they said that it was being written, but it's not been brought up for any kind of, so yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question on that, and it comes in later under another committee. Of that home grant, turn it over to the 3 municipalities. How long can we hold on to that money before it has to be refunded or transferred?
I don't know. I know they basically, I really don't know.
I think they
If I threw out something, I'd be guessing.
It's a 3-year grant.
So we technically can hold that money for 3 years before we have to either give it back or, you know, in anticipation of what the legislation might do.
If it is a 3-year grant, you would have 3 years to actually finish. So, I mean, you know, you would have to maybe at least start in year 2 to get those home.
Okay.
We've got
Yeah.
time on it
Yeah.
before we have to
Yeah.
do something.
So it's very well if this bill gets introduced and all that, and it turns out in your favor, that could help with this whole situation. But, and that came from 2 weeks ago. Our lady in our office had attended a ERP meeting, it was an emergency repair program, and they mentioned it at that meeting, that they are in the process of writing that to introduce it for a vote. Another thing, we are going to be, you'll hear more about it, our solid waste board met, and we're actually going to be using some of our host fees, roughly about $6,000. So we're going to go ahead and start that Birchfield School recycling program this fall. We're excited about that. What we hope, we applied for the application, we applied for the recycling grant, we did not get it. So we decided, let's go ahead and do one, and we're going to turn around and apply for the recycling grant again. Maybe this time the state said, oh, they're really serious about this, they actually did it themselves. So, you know, the plan would be, we'd love to be able to do one every year. We don't know if we can do that. But we think it's going to be something that once we get started, the Birchfield principal, the superintendent was very excited about it. Once we get started, we think that's something that, you know, more schools are going to say, hey, what about us, what about us? So, and the money's, like I said, it's part of the host fee, so it's not nothing, you know, it's money that need to be used for solid waste, I guess. But just want to let you all know that. And we are looking at, there's an asset planning grant, and we are now trying to look at, see what would be the best way for that. It's got to have something to do with tourism. So we're looking at that. I can provide you more information later on that. The actual grant will go in April 15th, so if anything, definitely by the end of this month, you know, I can let y'all know, you know, what we're looking at on that portion. Any questions? That's all I have as far as updates. The biggest thing I know is the downer is we don't have that money.
Well, the other one, and I don't know if this comes through you or not.
Okay.
Me and Jim's talked about this, but there was a $500,000 technology grant that discussed probably a year ago, that had $92,000 a year. And the gentleman that came in here, and I cannot remember who it was, said that the state had this money sitting there on, and if you can be very creative, we can get it. And, you know, $50,000, $500,000. The technology wise, if we could use it for the ambulance service, maybe for upgrade monitors or having, you know, telemedicine to review, whatever, how much, if we can use that to build a new animal center, and $500 goes a long way on that. But is that one of your grants or?
That's part of that broadband
Yeah.
grant, yes. And that money is still available for Scott County. What they had done was earmarked $1 million, whether it would go 50-50 Scott County and Campbell County, or 75-25, depending on who was needing it, what kind of proposals they were. So yes, that money is still sitting there.
So if it's sitting there, I mean, we have to manage 50,000, so we get 450,000 free out of this. You know, can we be creative enough to do, like I said, maybe one room there for the telemedicine for reviews? When we currently have no hospital and we have no way to go to an outside facility to be evaluated for them. And if we did, they still would have to be. You know, they do most of telemedicine now, they don't dispatch drive someone there for a physician. Now, can we be creative enough to that to get that through on Amazon bill?
That's through ARC. Of course, it would go to the state, which the state administers the ARC projects for the federal. That would be something that we need to just put together a proposal. Here's what we like.
Yeah.
And let them say, yeah, okay, we can work with this, or no, we need to tweak it, or no, we're not even gonna look at it. I mean, that's the answers we're gonna get. So, yeah, we definitely need to put a
Can we
proposal
put a
together.
plan together,
Yeah.
get it to you?
Yeah,
So it-
because until we do that, the money is sitting there, so until we do that, we can say, oh, if we can do this, and, you know, we don't know until we turn it in, and they either come back and say, yeah, you know what, we can work with this, but let's do a little different, or no, we can't do that.
Well, we would be creative with it, give it to you, let you ride.
Yeah. Yeah.
For 50,000, that's a small price to pay to get almost $500,000 to be something useful that is needed. And especially since money's still sitting there, but if it's sitting there, not going to be used, maybe they'll take a creative proposal.
Okay, yeah, we definitely can do that. Yeah. Anything else, anybody?
And nothing else? Thank you,
Okay. One thing, we're in the process, we got to turn in our annual solid waste progress report into March. Thanks to Mary Ann and David, they've been really good getting numbers for us and everything. We have to be at least 25% to meet the goal. We're at roughly about 62% right now. Of course, we have a big hitter in the lumber mill. What's that called, the lumber company? Stevens. You know, it's good to have a lumber company in your county because it gives you a lot of good numbers, but there's been a lot. One thing, if anybody knows what's the trailer company called?
Great day.
If anybody knows Great Day, we don't have to have their numbers, we already got our numbers, but I would love to get their numbers, but I can never get their numbers, I don't know why. I didn't know if any of you know somebody that works there, or maybe one of you guys work there, I don't know, it's just, I would love to have their numbers, so if somebody knows a contact, I call.
We did too, and they said they'd send us, but they just don't.
That's all they always just tell us, yeah, we'll get it to you, and we don't never
Isn't
get
that
it.
still on the ID board? That's still on the ID board, that building was built, so,
They
Mr.
told
Martin
them
should
they
be able to
would
get
do.
it for you.
I'll try him.
And like I said, we don't have to have it, we don't get it, no big deal, but it'd be nice to have it since they are one of the industries in town, so. Okay, all right, thank you.
Ambulance service still around?
We're good. We have a couple of plans to spend that 500,000 next August. So, I mean, just upgrade equipment and things of that nature, but, I think that grant's there for getting, and we have the way to do it.
You talking about the one I was talking about? Yeah, well, I think we can.
Yeah, I'll get with you all, and we'll put something in it. I'm good on that, Ernest, unless you got questions for me.
Anybody else have a question for him? No, emergency management? Good. Motion adjourned, this time, motion. Second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Oh, appreciate it.
Look here, we can move on to those committees. John's done some paperwork that we need from my committee.
Okay,
Just
so
get
next
back to
is
it.
community development.
Call community development committee to order, Eric Newport, Rick Rice, Sheila Batron, June Jeffers, Trent Cross,
Here.
Mike Slavin.
Here.
First on the agenda tonight is using home grant for the counties through municipalities instead of it being returned. So you want to have an update?
That's what they just mentioned a while ago. Actually, the end date of the contract of the grant is 6/30/19. And we just want to remember it will take a while to do these 8 homes. You know, we don't want to let it go too long. But it actually goes through 6/30/19. You have to run everything in the paper and stuff like that, so.
We've got 2 years after you run through the paper. I mean, this time, the legislature will be in session for another couple of months and have it. We not sit on it for a couple of months and see if they pass that bill and, I mean, yeah, don't give it up to you have to. I mean, if it's come down to one time. then-
And I think they are, because Winfield didn't get one, so I mean, we could help the people in Winfield, and Oneida didn't either. If it comes to that, maybe we can do
We
it.
could, but Oneida's got an inspector. Does Huntsville have an inspector?
Yeah, they offer it.
But Winfield don't have an inspector, so Winfield won't benefit from that. They
Yeah.
don't have a building inspector. So it really be only 2 municipalities. But if it's 6/19, this is March.
Yeah.
We at least let it run 3 more months and let the legislature adjourn down there in Nashville, see if
Is that what it
they rectify this bill.
So is that good with everybody?
But you have to make sure that we remember in 3 months after.
I will, I'll keep up with them.
So we don't need to take any further action,
I don't
right? We
think
just
so.
agree to
No, I just want to
sit on
try.
it for, okay. And then number 2, you have update on litter program.
That's me too. Just gonna let you know what the litter crew picked up for the month of February. We now have 4 people for the litter crew. We have 3 inmates now, and then our guy. They picked up garbage, of course, in all 7 districts, which that is something that the DOT makes us do. They're supposed to be, they really not supposed to be in the same place 2 days. They picked up over 45 miles of garbage, and we got 1 dump site. We cleaned up under New River Bridge, and they really did good. We got a lot of people calling in, and we just put you on the list as, you know, you call, and then if not, then I pick out a place for them to go. That's better for the inmates. They don't want the inmates to know where they're going. And
Shut down 456. It looks so much better.
Actually, it wasn't, that was Orr Construction. Did the state do that, or did?
say it one more time, Mark.
I seen it when I was driving, that was the Orr Construction or.
Now, the state did, they picked up garbage 2 or 3 days.
The
Yeah,
state paid for that.
Did they?
Yeah, they did. They picked up
Mowers, they had a contract with mowers in the right of ways.
Oh, really?
And of course, the next day, when I come home from work that evening, somebody's already threw stuff out. It looks at least 99% better.
It looks a lot better on the back.
yeah, now they did get brown buffalo and stuff, our guys did. But they're good.
Actually, the state, TDOT picked up several days too.
Yes, they did, yeah, that's what, yeah,
I know they did on 2 or 3 places, TDOT themselves picked up.
yes.
The county office here.
Right. And we are going through the Doctor Highway, we're gonna try to get it going. Of course, we got the litter pickup on the 22nd of April, I laid that there for you, so you all will remember it. We got several things going on, so I'll report next month too, just to keep everybody up with it, okay? Thank you.
Does anybody have anything else under this committee? If not, do your motion to adjourn.
Make a motion.
Second. All in favor?
All right, looks like next is budget committee.
We'll do budget committee, Rick, is anything John getting out of the budget you want to do, you want to go around first?
No, we're good, either one. You do both of them.
We're good on that, yeah, for the budget, all right. Call the budget committee to order, Patty Brown,
Here.
Rick Russ, here, Mike Slavin,
Here.
and Robert Brown.
Here.
The only thing we have is amendments. Looks like both of them for the Board of Education and for the county, and doing purpose school funds of these 2 January qualifications of debit to the credits that they're sending through on life insurance and not more further for the benefits of. And also for, what's that, Title I, Title II. This is made up. Motion and second to approve those and pass them on.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second. All those in favor say aye. And anybody have anything else under the budget committee? All right, we have a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? And the other one, intergovernmental committee, call to order, David Blue Day,
Here.
James Phillips,
Here.
Patty Brown,
Here.
Jim Jeffers,
Here.
Ken Chadwell,
Here.
Mike Slade.
Here.
Don't have anything on the other, like John needs some time, so whatever you want to discuss, let's discuss, and he can time to get paperwork out. I guess that around incremental, serious, we talked about Jim here on this grant for $500,000. What's everybody's, we'll jump back, but what's everybody's consensus on paying that grant again for the ambulance center to be built on county property with $6,000 match, $400,000 construction money, sitting and waiting, eventually it's gonna go by now.
The only thing, we were talking about match was, the budget's coming up.
That's why
I
I
mean,
think,
we don't need, we need to look at our money, budget, taxes, I've heard, we really have to look at the budget on it, which I'm sure you all are working on a budget committee, I'm saying. But before we jump into all these matches, we need to know where we're at with money situation.
well, that's what I was asking before we start the budgetary process and kind of money match it. If it's, should we figure this in, right, should we reconcile with the budget? I mean, it's a lot of money, on $500,000, a lot of money, and $6,000. That's a pretty good gain on, return on the gain from it. And it's something that, it's serious about it, and that's something that we need to reconcile through it. Don't worry about it, don't want to pay it.
Yeah, for something to be put together, for that. Again, like you said, put a proposal together, see what they say, then they say yes or no.
Say yes or no.
It's worth putting it together and see if they say yes. We surely need it. And then financial aspect, you can look at it as you
Well,
go.
Jim, and of course, you talked about budgetary comment there, Rick. The animal service is ahead, and actually Jim has offered the $50,000 animal service budget, but we can't use the match it because he is ahead on, as far as being in the black. So if we do need $50,000 without having to raise taxes, we can come out of the animal service budget to match that grant to get $50,000. So it's not going to put a big hit on the taxpayers, but we're in bad need of upgrading that facility and getting these trucks and drive.
I think everybody can agree.
So if it's an agreement, we'll try to work up a proposal and get Mitch and get back and.
I think the only thing about that one, Trent, and I'm not, and I may be wrong on this, but I had talked to him before, and my understanding was you couldn't do a facility with that money.
Well, but I know, and I talked to him, if we created that for sitting there so long, and if we could do something technology-wise with it.
Right. And there's some things we can do to do a lot of equipment, but, and I mean, I'm all about building if we can do that, but my understanding was you just can't do a facility. But there's a lot of other stuff we could do.
Yeah.
So, a lot of other stuff.
So getting that money, I mean, we can sit down and make a proposal, and I think we can match it without having to do anything on raising taxes as part of that. But, all right, Rick, anything else, anything else?
Make a motion to adjourn.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
I think building grounds is all the way back.
Call the grounds for Eric Newport, Sheila Buckman, Robin Newman,
Here.
Sam Miles. Here. Robin Newman,
Here.
Rick Byrd. First thing I've got on my agenda, and it's all falling over, is we've been working on signs for the notification out here in front of the county building. And I've showed several of you what proposals we've got at this time. And like I said, these are just proposals, but we need to, they basically are all the same. But what I would like to do is sit down and design what kind of sign we actually want out front of this building out here. I hate to put just a standard sign. I'd like for it to be brick or a stone sign, something unique out in front of the building. Seems that's what I do. But I think for the proposal prices that we've been getting, these things, that we could really put a lot nicer sign than what we've been proposed. So
with the rest of the committee, I would like to ask to give permission to contact with some masons and different people and try to get those other opinions and other proposals.
Have we got a high end or low end?
Everything that we've got coming in right now, Rick, is running around $5,000, and we had budgeted for that for last year, in last year's budget. I don't know exactly how much we had to do that with, but, you know, I hate to stick a standard sign out, but whatever we got to have to do. So,
We have any inmates that used to be Masons at all one time, we have one in the
it's what we've kind of been waiting around on.
We used to have one that's great.
See if we can round some up.
We wouldn't always want to pick up the brick over, Knoxville and the mortar and,
Right, and I think we can do a really nice sign for a lot less than the proposals that we've got right now.
What did you say we had in the budget for?
I think we've got at least $5,000.
I apologize, I do not remember that.
Okay.
Which
Did
budget?
we not have funds in the budget for this
You're
project?
talking about the capital budget?
Yeah,
No, I know it is not in the capital budget.
okay.
Do you remember it, Chairman Cross?
it's not in the capital budget, I don't know if it's not in the building upkeep budget.
What about the building?
I can look and see if there's funds in the building,
Okay,
county building.
So they're not in the capital budget, no.
well, let's, what we'll do then is just continue to get proposals and see if we've got that money somewhere within that. I thought we discussed that, Jim, that we thought we had funds.
I don't ever remember.
Okay.
And that is, I mean, a real good idea about, the inmates. We do get some of them that really do a lot of work.
And that's kind of what
If you
we're
look
coming
around, they've done a lot of work for the county, laying
Right.
tile and rebuilding buildings, and that would be a good way to really get it done. And do a nice sign with, not real high,
And that's kind of the reason we haven't brought this back up to this point, but I've been asked to approach this sign first. So,
Hey, make it nice enough, and y'all can show brick, and, put a little stamp on it, so they won't get the combination brick.
just don't want to stick a plastic sign up
I
here.
know, but you know, get General Shell, one of the others, say, I'm sure they have, the write-off, the combination.
I'll just keep working on that and see if we can come up with something a little better, and maybe we can pick up a good working trustee somewhere. in
Yeah, I get
town.
on, we used to have one out there that was great at masonry work, I don't know if he's still there, I can call and ask, but they used to have one in the shell that was, they've done a great job of laying brick and block up, and then stucco.
Next thing that me and Blue has been actually working back with is that we want to, on the east end over here, is to try to develop a helipad. Right now, we land our helicopters on the football field pretty much over there. And that's really been a strain on us and the school, a lot of times, especially in the wet weather and rainy season, you can't even get down to that place. But one site that we really looked at real heavy is up there at the community center. But that's going to require taking out a couple of trees, moving the power line. And Blue's actually working on that a little bit more than I am right now. You want to tell them what we got over there?
All we need to do is take power line down, it's dead power line, 3 or 4 trees cut, and try to get Dick blacktop spot.
You talked to Dick about that?
I have, right now.
We own the property.
We did. Basically right at the end of the community center over there. And we have landed over there before, but one of our biggest problems right now is it's basically not lit. There's some construction area that we need to look at coming in. We probably need to get part of Lifestar over there to tell us exactly what we need to do to make that a good LC zone for
Is that on where the playground's at?
Yeah. Yeah.
We did have a request from the fire department, talked to them last week about not landing there anymore. They're concerned about the vehicles parked in the parking lot getting peppered with rocks, and they're concerned they're gonna have a liability. And I told them until we got some of that worked out, and just use the football field until, you know, we can get something there. Because I understand there's a few vehicles been there and they have got peppered, and I told them that would come back on us because we're requesting the site, but they did request that, and I told them we'd try not to do that if we could keep from it.
And we discussed that also too, we'd have to make an official site and keep the vehicles off of it, at least on that.
Well, if we could get it blacktop or concrete, then you take all that out of the game as far as something getting thrown at vehicles, you know.
There was another option over there that fell through, that didn't work out, so we went back to this one.
Who have you been going to get the requirements for that?
Well, we know the size and dimensions, but we really need Lifestar to actually come over and let their.
You actually have to file an application with TDOT
Yeah.
to activate a helipad. And they have certain requirements, 5 or 6 requirements, which means a foundation, asphalt or concrete, markings that are visible, lighting, and a clear, visible descent and ascent. And I know this because we're actually trying to activate the helipad at the hospital. So you have to actually file an application with TDOT to get it activated, so.
But that's something to work with on down the road, just kind of let get that information out there.
I would ask you if, while you all have that on your mind, that if in Winfield, if something could be looked at there, would be great also. You know, we have one on the south end, we have one there at the hospital. If we could get one on the east end and one actually in Winfield somewhere, yeah, it would be great. You know, I mean, we wouldn't have to find places, they would know when we're going there, you know, that we could use those. And I'm not saying it's gotta be done, I'm just saying that you all are thinking about it. If, you know, maybe commissioners from up in that district and look around and find something. Since we're in that mode, it'd be great to have it if we could.
What land we own in Winfield? We got Winfield Park, which is the city's in the center of all track. The old school building up there, we got a painting and basketball courts and.
Why don't we let the fire department up there with the city come back with some recommendations on that? That they know more about that area than.
They've landed in the park before.
Yeah, we have several times, but a lot of times when you get off in those areas, you're wet, you're either having to carry the patient for a long ways or
There's some roads in there, right there.
hard to get to, yeah, it's.
It's real bad.
In the same sense, like John said, we have to think about who's gonna license and who's gonna be the responsible parties to these, because, you know, the hospital has got the one up there, and Mountain Peoples has responsibility for going on the south end.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's just another thing you have to look at, who takes that responsibility, where it's at, and
Well, keep lighting.
The one over on the east end is, the convenience of it is having electric and everything already there.
I was talking about the old school, we already electric there. You know, that we don't let, I'm talking about all those basketball courts, playgrounds, abandoned, there's a fence around them, you know, and they're rusting down and throwing up asphalt.
How does that affect the lease you have on the building?
It's perpetual, I don't know on the lease, it's perpetual up a golf, but they don't use it on that part, and I don't know if that really did, it's not.
Where?
The old Winfield School and then where the playground and the asphalt course does that, was just
I
growing.
think we have that pretty much leased.
We do have it leased. I'm not sure how much property is there. I know what you're talking about, though. There used to be tennis courts and basketball court on the north side.
It's all been graded down, and no one's up kept, and grass growing up through the asphalt.
There may be enough space there. Check over.
So, yeah.
And one other thing that I have, we have a
a lot of vacant buildings, and I said this would be tenements tonight, and it is tenements tonight. I'm asking this board for, permission to send out RFPs. It's just request for proposals, and what this is basically doing is laying the old jail out for just proposals to come in for, and this says for sale or lease. And I'm not for sale, but I am for leasing if it's gonna be, somebody's gonna come in and maintain the integrity of the building, keep it as a historical building, and the bottom line is the building's gonna fall down if we don't do something. I talked to Mitch about grants. He said there is grants out there. He said to a max of $100,000 with a minimum of 25 to 50% match, which is, would cost us $25,000 to $50,000 just for our part of it. Doesn't mean we have to take any action whatsoever, but it means that we're putting it out and getting some proposals back in to see what's out there for us, get something back on the tax roll. And let the building is what I'm asking for. So, but I'll read this resolution, this meeting. John, would you like to speak on that?
Well, what I've provided you are copies of the resolution and also the documents that were presented in 2013, actually about 4 years ago, a little over 4 years ago. And that was to accept RFPs for either a lease or a sale of the old county jail, along with 3 attachments, which include information on requirements, the bid, which would be either a lease or a purchase, and also the third document would be basically the discussion or a requirement that the building be maintained as a historical site. Now, what the county did 4 years ago was to open it up either for a lease or a sale. We went through this over and over, and I have documents for a lease or a sale or both. Whatever you want to do, if you want to do anything. This is a very detailed RFP, which recognizes the historical nature of this facility. Like Rick said, this just opens it up. You don't have to accept any proposals. I think the last time we had one proposal that was rejected.
Has anybody even gone down to look to see if it could be fixed? Has there been any committee gone down and gone through that and said, we could do this, or we could not do this? Has anybody done
I don't know what the condition of the facility is. I don't anticipate that you would find, I mean, it was in bad shape 4 years ago. I'm not sure what kind of shape it is now.
What are you proposing
that?
to do with
I'm
it?
not proposing anything, I'm just saying.
We went down and looked at it, what are we looking
Has
for?
anybody gone down and looked and see if it could be repaired?
For the county's use or for something else? Or
For the county to, maybe to lease, to make some money on the board.
Yeah, I think
Not
that's
sit
what-
there and let it just
That's what these are, that's what
totally
this is.
fall down.
That's what this is.
The lease, they've got to fix it if they lease it.
I think I heard Mayor Cruz say that Gary Sexton from the school had went down there
There's
and
one.
may be interested in it. Gary Sexton from Scott High, he went and looked at it. He may be interested in leasing it. I'm not sure, you'd have to check with him, but he did go down there.
Well, the thing about it is, anybody interested shouldn't really be going to do this right here, and we all open it up for that purpose. There's other things out there that people want to do within the building right now. We've got to check the liability status of that at the time. But this is basically offering up for a lease, and it says lease or purchase. And I'm for leasing, I'm not for selling the building. It's a historical part of this county. But we need to see what our options are out there to get this building restored back and to quit watching it fall down.
we don't have the money possibly to restore this building. And even if we had, if we got $100,000 grant to restore it, then what do we do with it? Watch it fall down? We're probably not gonna do anything with the building. So my thought is, let's let somebody come in that will maintain and keep up the building, pay the utility bills, and then have a business there that's gonna put tax dollars back on in the county. So,
We just,
How much are the utility bills?
They're very small, like, we had to hook up for gas, it's under $30 a month, and then the electric is just a hookup, so.
I'm sure that there's probably no water inside the building now. I'm sure if there was, it'd be done frozen, busted, and nothing else.
Ginger, if I'm wrong, I believe the electric bill is hooked up for the maintenance, is using the building behind to store, food or something in there. I don't know what they're, that's where the electric bill's coming in at, right?
Yeah, but we
I
have, for
know.
the gas meter, we just have a gas meter hookup that I mentioned.
Yeah, 'cause
For the,
we went down there with the gas meter. I've been down there twice. I took 2 groups through the jail. A group from New York and a group from somewhere else. And it's really in bad shape. I mean, it's gonna take a whole lot of work. And I put them through.
Let's, as a building grounds committee, let's go down there. Let's look at this thing. Let's see what our options are.
But now, we went down there on the electric
Yeah,
bill.
Julie and I went down there on the meters.
Yes, we did.
Let's go.
Well, let's do that, but we can still open this up from proposals from outside. It don't mean we accept anything. And if we find something, if we can always reject anything we don't want to.
Right.
But I'm asking that this committee send this to the full court, open this up for proposals and see what's out there and what's offered to us.
I made that motion.
I second.
All in favor, say aye.
Is the proposal to open it up for either a sale or a lease?
Just lease.
Just
I
lease?
think we need to take away the sale and
Okay.
just use the lease.
you need to keep in mind that nobody's gonna invest a lot of capital in that building and never own it. I wouldn't come in and put $100,000 in the building and never be able to own it. They're not gonna do that. They might. They might keep it up and pay the utilities, but they're not gonna invest a lot of money in it, I wouldn't think, and not ever be able to get it to own the building. But
They may with a 20, 30-year lease.
They might do something like
The only other
that.
thing you might run into on that would be your financing, because, you know, you're doing business and unless people are gonna pay cash and you go to the bank for an investment loan, if there's no capital to be put up, you're not getting a loan. So if it's a lease only, where you getting capital from the loan, there's nothing put up there. There's no collateral.
Are you for selling this building?
Am I for sale? Whatever's best for the county, I'm open to.
Have a motion second, all those in favor? Say aye. Any opposed?
Well, let me clarify, because I've got it drafted both ways. Either sale and lease or lease. So how am I going to draft this? I need some clarification.
Okay. So let's just put for sale or lease, leave it just like it is, and we don't have to accept anything.
I can do it either way.
But let's just leave it the way it's written, for sale or lease.
I'll take my motion to reflect that.
Okay,
I'll second that.
okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And we can get together and go down there and go to the building. When you can walk.
I can walk.
Whatever, the next
What about you?
commissioner should be notified if they can come to be there.
Do what?
Every commissioner should be notified and to be there if they can.
Okay, we can do
Well, it was cleaned up the last time we did this. That building was cleaned up, looked pretty good. We had the people from the Knoxville News come down, look at it, went through it. And had a little story on it. And so back about
Stop
3 or 4
cleaning up now.
I'm talking about 3 or 4 years ago, we went through the process, because the sheriff had all kinds of stuff stored down there, and got all that out. And, so,
Let's just do something with
if
it.
it's gone downhill since then I don't know.
I just don't want to see it fall down, one way or another, let's just restore it, whatever we have to do, but let's just not sit and watch it fall down. Anything else come through the committee? Make a motion.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
All right, anybody else have anything that we brought before the commission?
I just wanted to,
Yeah.
I just wanted to ask John, I know we had the trial, or whatever you call it, the hearing about the Benton Covered Bridge Road, and the county won that,
County did prevail in that lawsuit, yes.
and who's gonna repair the road?
Repair the road?
Well, they tore it up.
Well, actually, it has been repaired already. There were no damages awarded in that.
He's already gone back
Mr.
in.
Sexton has examined the road and he has determined that there has not been any damage done to it, so.
What?
Where's that at?
Damages done to the Living Covered Bridge Road, you were satisfied that there were no damages done to the road?
No, you mean when Steve,
Yeah.
no, he helped to keep the code in.
Yeah.
So it's been repaired.
Yeah. It's not open yet.
Okay. Not that the code, all that.
We're still working on the order to enter that, and it should be done in the next few days, so.
But I don't think any county money should have been spent for that.
No, it hasn't been and won't be.
Any update on the hospital?
No, I have not heard it. So, I assume that things are progressing along.
Anybody else have anything?
Just wanted, I want to go back. John, I think you were here when you talked about there's a supposed new piece of legislation concerning the opt-in, opt-out thing down in Nashville. Is there any way you could check and find out where that's coming from? Is it going to be presented to this legislative body?
Yeah, I will. I'm very curious about that, and I have been watching the General Assembly website to see that. I'll check and see between now and the regular meeting, what's in place, what's it.
You know, once we know, then we can maybe put a little.
I had been told that something was gonna be introduced, but I've not seen anything, and that's the first I've heard that there was gonna be something that may be introduced this session. So I'll try to get the answer before the regular meetings.
Appreciate it.
All right.
All right.
Real quick, I just want to congratulate the Oneida High School girls basketball team on making a sub-state appearance this past weekend. I'm very proud of them, so.
Almost there.
Anything else?
Yeah, on the Covered Bridge Road, are you gonna fix the road or what?
Well, once the Texas gate down opens up, I've not got no time right now to do anything with it except my projects that I've got on. So I'm not gonna say when I'll get it fixed, but it's such a big job, and I don't want to put a timetable on when I'll get to it. All right. And it ain't like running the grader down through there and got to fix it, it's not that bad. Anything else? All right. Good night.